Hello and welcome to the Monday evening meditation live from Newbury Monastery in the beautiful little Dhamma hall here. So I hope you're all in a good spirit and have made yourself comfortable. As the time we have together now for being just present with what is. We have this 1 hour here now, and see what the mind says to 1 hour being really with what is in that moment, without needing to go into the past, needing to plan anything for the future. Make sure that your cooking fires are all out, the gas is turned down, that there is this sense of there's really nothing to do in that hour. This is the safety of your home, hopefully. And how is it if the mind doesn't wander so much? What is it to be with these sensations in this body? And what hopefully is it when the mind slows down a little bit? And this realization that things go on if we want it or not. The thought process stalls a bit, and the planning stalls a bit, and we realize this perception, and perception just runs on and on. And if it gets really quiet, it becomes very interesting. This sort of how much of what would take to be ourselves and our selves in control of our environment. We see that as a process running on and on and on. Different perception coming in, a little bit of noise, a little bit of feeling here and there, and then the mind still obviously wanting to react to those things, and the mind will still try to react to what is happening, even if it's not much that is happening. But it's very nice to keep in the background of your mind that is a process running on, but we don't need to put extra fuel into that process. There's nothing going to be that interesting that we have to keep the mind there. Not trying to put the boundaries on the mind where it's supposed to be, and just patient, watching how things are slowing down, giving the mind the opportunity to appreciate that opportunity to sit without having to do anything, not having to meditate or having to sit still. This invitation of just looking, what happens if I take my hands off the wheel? Is that actually pleasant or unpleasant, this controlling business that we do all day? And hopefully you, if we do it nicely enough, you get a little bit of that experience that it's actually very pleasant. It's this moment sometimes when you worked hard and you're tired, and then you allow yourself to sleep, and as you may be just too tired to go into any reverie and thinking process, and you just have this few seconds sometimes only where the mind realizes nothing more to do, and it's nice and warm, and I'm comfortable, and you don't want to be anywhere else, but there in your nice warm bed. But then usually it's because you're tired already. We just fall asleep. So if you're sitting up, if you're comfortable enough sitting up, that might help. That we can watch this process a little bit longer, but the process in the mind to get this same feeling in the mind that is just there. It's all there for you already. There's nothing left to do. It's like the end of the day already. That that 45 minutes that we're going to meditate together. Is this an invitation, not a chore? And see if you even when we start the meditation and you feel there's more to say in your mind, you can still continue with some encouragement. And just this is, don't have to figure anything out. It's all in the moment now for you. What happens when the thought process slows down? And if the mind gets a little bit interested in what is happening when we take our hands off the wheel, meditation can, from the very start, be something that is relatively pleasant. The unpleasant aspect is that we get in contact with our body a little bit more, because the body awareness is going to increase when the thinking process goes down. So sometimes we become more aware of our aches and pains in the body. And for that reason, it's also very important to have this kindness and patience, just to make sure that you're not in pain from the very beginning, but there might be a little bit of uncomfortableness coming up. Sometimes it's even that the breathing becomes a little bit controlled, because the mind goes to the breath, and then wherever the mind goes, it's so used of controlling things that this need arises actually to breathe in a certain way. But to keep just this attitude in those moments of yes, whatever happens there, actually a little bit more control there, and we don't put any value, any judgment on that. This kindness that interests makes it possible for the mind to slow down. This little bit of interested joy. And I hope you trained all a little bit already to treat yourself nicely in your own head. That the mind is used to that. There's some trust there that it's not just a joke. I mean it. I mean well with you, mind. You can just go where you want to go, but we don't have to figure anything out. If there are still thoughts coming up, thoughts going, but there's that one that hooks into the thoughts and pays it that interest that has to proliferate this process. That one can become the kind watcher, and just the interested watcher in the background of that process. And sometimes the mind realizes how beautiful that is, because the suffering that we experience in our life, probably if it's not immediate physical suffering, is the suffering that is created through our thoughts. So learning that these thoughts they don't have to be there all the time. There are gaps in between these thoughts, and paying attention to these gaps in the thought process, realizing the freedom and the beauty that lies in exactly these gaps, can give the encouragement and the interest to wanting to look even more there, and then the stillness increases, and that awareness is already there. That is, wow, there's nothing there you have to do. It just goes on, and sometimes it's a bit more pleasant, sometimes a little bit unpleasant here, but it's just rolling on, and if it's not if you're not in physical pain, then everything is all right. There's nothing to fear, nothing to really control for any reason. It's just gets lighter. There's a burden dropping away, this constant thought process, this incredible burden that we carry around most of the time, of most of the days. just seeing as what it is. Just new concepts, new ideas, new fears, new desires, often old desires in a new package. And it's just exhausting. Costs a lot of energy. And the less energy that is spent with that, and the more the mind realizes that it's not necessary and also a burden to do that, the more power is created in the meditation. And then that energy gets accumulated of this less and less thinking. And then hopefully the joy increases in the meditation, and it's always going to be the joy that takes you to the next step of the meditation. And the joy also is going to give you the courage, if anything unexpected happens. Something, the body disappears, or the really strong feelings coming up. And sensations that are half forgotten or even never experienced, and these things can take one out of the meditation very quickly. Then, and it's important to have this trust in your own kindness for a long time. This meaning well, because that is gonna help reducing this wobbling going on when things are happening. But if nothing special is happening, that is then it's very important to have this little bit of gratitude that nothing is happening. It's just the normal stuff is happening, sensations. If you live in town, you might have a little bit more noise. Here I'm lucky, it's very, very quiet. It's not going to be much disturbance by noise. It's not too hot, not too cold in this room here. I hope you have it comfortable there, where you are. And make sure that you are comfortable. Sit in a position where you know that I can sit like that, and you don't start from the very beginning that it's unpleasant to sit that way. You sit in a way where it feels good, and you feel stable, and you can breathe freely. So these are the little preparations to start your meditation in a nice way already. Because we don't want to damage the body, and we don't want to focus on any pains here or whatnot. The body is painful enough. It's a great burden to carry around every day and feed and wash and endure all this discomfort through heat and cold and insects and the pains here and there. So we need this little bit of willingness to look, even if it's not completely comfortable, but never get this attitude where you have to focus yourself through pain or anything like that. I don't encourage that at all. There might come the time when we are in pain that we cannot avoid, and then we don't have any other chance but to look. But if you're not in pain, make sure your meditation doesn't become pain, because the mind very easily associates your meditation with discomfort then, and it just becomes a chore and a burden, and that is a pity if the meditation becomes something like that. It should be a refuge, something where the mind knows that it's beautiful there. There's that realm where I don't, nobody wants me to do anything, where I'm completely free to look at whatever happens. Whereas nobody needs to be there to control anything. It's just this watching in the background, and somebody who doesn't judge this non-judgmental, kind watcher. So I hope you develop that meditation, that you don't make it something of willpower and a chore. I don't see the benefit, and I haven't experienced the benefit in people who practice that way. You obviously can make your own experiences, so you can try any way you like. I just give you a perspective on that way of meditation. And meditation is never achieving anything. Meditation is stuff falling off. Things falling off, thinking falling off, controlling falling off. But the trouble is only when they fall off we realize how heavy they really were. So I hope you experience a little bit of this watcher, a little bit of this slowing down of thoughts. And we're gonna start the meditation in a minute. And just I'm gonna maybe give for another 1 or 2 minutes some general instructions for people maybe who haven't meditated that much yet. And then I'm gonna be quiet for 45 minutes. You at home obviously can go to the toilet and do whatever you want. This is no guideline, and there's no spiritual quality to 45 minutes. I hope the people here are comfortable with that they can sit relatively comfortable for 45 minutes. I can do it, and for the people who are new to meditation, it's at least bearable. Even if it can get a little bit boring or unpleasant at the end, but feel free to break off any time when you see your mind getting negative. It's not gonna help if you just force yourself into something. It just makes your ego stronger again, but it's not helping this letting go process. It's just a process, and it takes time. And you can start with fewer minutes, a lot fewer minutes, and maybe have to stay with that for years or whatnot. And sometimes we have to switch it. People who are used to meditate an hour and a half or whatnot, but they can just sit there and get very bored and maybe just endure. That doesn't help that much. I find it very important that we always find joy in the meditation. And whatever time you can set for yourself where you have the feeling from the very beginning, 5 minutes, that could be interesting. What happens if I don't have to do anything for 5 minutes? Just let the process run for 5 minutes. And then sometimes if the mind enjoys the process, you don't want to get up. So personally, I never set myself a clock. Always look what happens. So, but that is up to you. We have that formal thing now together, and so it's gonna be 45 minutes. So I'm gonna ring the bell one time to start the 45 minutes, give a few more instructions, and then I'm gonna shut up. So like I said, please make yourself comfortable. See that your shoulders are relaxed. If you want, you can go one time through your whole body from your toes upwards to your forehead, and relax everything bit by bit. I'm not going to do that together with you now, but you can do that anytime you want, or also later again in the meditation. But very nice to start at least that you feel that your neck and shoulders are relaxed. And I find it very helpful always to pump myself full of air and then let go of that air in my lungs, and then the shoulders drop to a certain extent, but my back is upright, and so my shoulders come down very nicely, and I'm sitting here cross-legged, and then my head comes into the right position automatically as well, which is for me just a quick way to feel comfortable sitting in that position. But however you sit, I hope you learn your own tricks and have your own seats and skillful means to sit in a position where you just know this is good, and in that position I'm not gonna harm the body for whatever time period you intend to sit there. And so we just become a little bit aware of this, what is noticing things in the mind, that maybe what we would call ourselves or whatever. This mixture of feeling and thought, that awareness. And then there's usually somebody in the background judging that awareness. It's very neutral, it's not that strong. If something gets unpleasant, you will hear this judgment coming up very quickly. And exactly this judger now, the guy in the background, if that one is a friendly watcher, it can make the meditation very, very pleasant. And then we can experience things that maybe are not completely pleasant. And we don't have to react. As it can be as interesting as if something happens that is pleasant the moment before. And we don't try to focus the mind yet on anything. It just shifts between feelings and sound, and the mind goes back behind the eyes, and I suggest that you close your eyes, but you can do whatever you want, obviously, but I just find it more relaxing personally. And just when the vision needs a lot of processing power usually, can get exhausting. So, but still the mind goes behind the closed eyes actually, and a little bit of reddishness there or whatnot, and blackishness if there is a light in your room. And then it goes back to your neck, into your foot, wherever. And then it goes back to a thought, an idea, a complaint. So that's this awareness running around in the body and through getting these inputs through the five senses still. And just to see wherever you want to go. Not constraining it anywhere. And then there usually comes at that point where it likes to be anchored somewhere. And that is where the breath becomes a very useful tool. Because the breath is coming from our lizard brain. And that lizard brain does a lot of stuff that we are not aware of. So it continues breathing when we're sleeping, when we're unconscious actually. And it does all these other functions in the body, and pretty busy, but the most important part is we don't have to control it. Even when we look at the breath, we might have a bit of control and use a bit of control, sometimes unavoidable. But in the back of our mind, we don't need to. If the mind doesn't control, the breath goes in and out still. So that is a very comforting thing, and it's can get very regular. That it's something that is doesn't feel disturbing or too wobbly anymore. So whenever the mind has a feeling it likes to go somewhere, so the breath is always there for it. And if it likes, it can stay as long as it wants to stay, and then maybe go somewhere else again. And for that meditation, I encourage you not to try to focus too much on the breath or on your nose or anything. And just give the mind the invitation. Breath is there for you. If you feel comfortable there, stay. If you want to go somewhere else, go ahead. You just make sure you keep this, or the watcher has to be aware of itself. Just keep your goodwill up, keep your kindness up, keep your patience up. Keep your patience up when you get impatient. It's just sometimes it just happens for a second or two, and then the memory of it's okay, is always whatever happens is okay in this 45 minutes. No judgment. Nothing to do right, nothing to do wrong. It's just this process, watching this process running. So I wish you lots of fun with that. Enjoy yourself. And if you don't enjoy yourself, it's not your fault. It's just the process running on. If you were in charge, you would be super happy. So I'm going to ring the bell 3 times, and after the 3rd ring we end the meditation for tonight. I made a mistake and forgot to tell you that you had the opportunity to ask questions afterwards. Well, some people knew already. I don't know if we have any questions tonight. I give you another few minutes if you're a fast typer. Yes, we have received some questions, so you still have a little bit of time if you didn't get the opportunity yet. Can I have the first question, please?
Thank you, Bhante. The question is, how one liberates from thought using his own mind? Because mind cannot exist without any thought.
How do you know that? And that is not true. The mind can very well exist without thought. It can exist a lot better without thought, actually. So keep going with your meditation and watch very closely, even in your mind. Without any experience of a little bit deeper meditation, you will see that there are these moments where at least that rational thought, this thought that has a voice to it, that comes in words, stops from time to time. For me, it's interesting because with 2 languages, when I start thinking in German and when I start thinking in English, so there's this certain aspects of the mind. What I learned a long time ago in Germany, sometimes it reverts back to German. Actually, my thoughts. And then it most of the time I think in English now. And this form of thought, the verbal sort of thought, stops, even if it's just for a few seconds. And if you look closely, you will see that. But underneath that, there is this. It's even hard to call that thought, because it's basically this memories. If you watch closely, it's doesn't need to be an inner monologue really, and from a time to time occurrence. Sometimes it's a smell, a physical sensation of a smell, and this memory comes up, and then the mind verbalizes it and puts it into thought, and that stuff is always underneath and as well. And when the calmer the mind gets, the unverbalized stuff that falls away as well, and that is when it becomes interesting and still. And like I said in the beginning of the meditation, that this if you look with a positive attitude from the very beginning, it can be a very beautiful experience. This sort of everything just goes on if I think about it or not. It just rattles on and on anyway. So keep looking, and you will find out we can do very well without thought. And a lot of people would do a lot better with less thinking, and especially a lot less negative thinking and stupid thinking. Okay, next question, please. Finish? I was only 1 question. Okay. Why do I have 3 questions in my head? You see what my thoughts can do? Confuse me already. Well, I guess that was it then. I wish you a very good night. Watch your minds kindly. don't think too much stupid stuff, and until next time.